absurdism? I was absurd once. They put me in a room full of adventurers.
I'm physically in a closet. Mentally, I'm free as a bird, I guess. Birds aren't really all that free. They're chained to their migratory patterns, but metaphor.
Yeah, but are you as a person free? Are you really free?
Okay, let me go read Foucault again. Fucking everything's a prison. Life is pain.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about Halo, guys.
Yeah, anyway, welcome to the podcast.
No.
Just shit in your goddamn cereal.
You know what? Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Elena.
It's an intro. This is a spin-off game.
I'm cool. Did you know? I yell over him.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, well,
Okay,
that's the
fine.
internet.
Yep. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, hi everybody.
Jesus Christmas.
But yes, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Today we are not diving into a rabbit hole of existentialism, but we are talking about more Halo.
Foucault was an existentialist, if I recall correctly. Hey, Alina, tell us about Halo 3 ODST.
Okay. Yeah. So today's
Yeah,
episode...
I don't want to open that box of worms.
A jar of flies.
But yes, today's episode is about Halo 3 ODST. Now I know you might be wondering, why aren't we talking about Halo 3? Well, fun fact about Halo 3 ODST, it actually takes place in between 2 and 3. So, timeline-wise, this is great.
We started with Reach, so...
And we started with Reach. If we were going by games, Reach would have been later.
2 episodes from now.
Yes. But yes. So Halo 3 ODST is a bit of a spin-off game from the main series. And the draw, I suppose, for ODST is that you are not playing as a Spartan, but you are playing as an ODST. Multiple ODSTs.
It's like a visual novel.
No, but
Can you imagine if it did, though?
That
Let's
would be
be
so
real,
weird.
Fucking Microsoft 343 should release a Halo visual novel dating sim like they did for Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I want that so bad. I'd go for the Arbiter. And no one else. No, I'd go for Johnson. I'd go for Johnson too. I like both of those characters. Anyway.
But Microsoft is allergic to good business decisions, so...
I'm sure there's someone out there who will make one for funsies eventually.
If it doesn't already exist.
True.
Fanfiction. Just read fanfiction.
I don't want to read fanfiction.
Well,
That's more of a commitment than a visual novel with 900 endings.
Anyway. What is an ODST?
It's almost like it's an acronym or something.
Yeah.
Collection of letters. No inherent meaning. That's the episode.
Does it?
You guys read the book Chicka Chicka Boom Boom when you were little kids?
No.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
There's a bunch of letters and they're on a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And the tree shakes and they all come down. I just remember the words Chicka Chicka Boom Boom being said when all the letters get knocked off the tree. Anyway, the point is that's what the ODSTs are, right? They're just like a bunch of letters stacked up on top of each other. physically in the real world, you just send like a billboard. Imagine the Gmod error. It's a bunch of floating letters, right?
Yeah, no, that's totally what an ODST is. But no, unfortunately, ODSTs are not alphabet soup. They are orbital drop shock troopers.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a career that pays well, and I guess it pays your family well when you inevitably die and
Yeah.
you get your life insurance.
Yeah. And some fun Halo lore. ODSTs and Spartans notoriously don't get along.
What is that?
I honestly don't know. It's just a thing.
Since time immemorial.
It could be a similar thing to how certain factions of like the actual U.S. military don't get along.
Oh, like how everyone hates the Air Force.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Air Force and everyone.
Yeah. It's like I think it's just something like that. I think listen again. I don't read the books or the comics. I just play the games. These things aren't explained. They just are. They just be. But anyway, yes. So, yes. In this game, you are an orbital drop shock trooper. In fact, you're a whole team of them. Because another neat thing that this game does, unlike a lot, I think all of the other games except for 5, I guess technically, and 2, is that you don't just play the one guy, you play like 5 of them.
Five of them.
You play the entire team other than like one lady. In fact. So it's a whole smorgasbord of people. That's neat. So the way this game starts is that you are your whole posse is in a ship, and you have orders to take your drop pods and go down to New Mombasa because it's currently being attacked by the Covenant. If any of you watched the previous podcast episode about Halo, or if you've played Halo 2, you know what's gonna happen.
Yay!
So the team sort of gets their introductions here. The first one on screen is the rookie, which is technically you, but you also play everyone else except for one lady. But the rookie is technically you. Is the rookie, and he's sleeping. He fall asleep. And you get woken up by, think it's Dutch. I think maybe somebody knocks you awake.
It's the sniper guy. He whacks you with his sniper rifle.
Yeah. Then that's not Dutch. It's Romeo.
I hate that guy.
But yeah, you get woken up, and everybody's like, "We're dropping, lads. We're going down." But not until there's a bit of a spat between 2 other characters, Buck and Veronica. Veronica shows up. She's new to this posse. And she's very adamant about following her orders, not the orders of the team, her orders specifically. And apparently her and Buck have a history of romance. Woo. Hey.
Steamy.
topic not really ever explored in Halo. So it's a little weird, but like, you know, it's fine. People like each other. It happens.
No, it doesn't. Don't lie to me.
You're right. In the universe of
Everyone
Halo,
is canonically 5 years old. Every setting ever. Everywhere.
right, of course. But anyway, after that, they have a bit of an altercation. Not like a physical one, just like a. What about us? What about my orders, bitch? But anyway, so y'all get in your pods. Y'all drop down. And right off the bat, there's yet another conflict between Buck and Veronica, because Veronica like steers everybody in the quote-unquote wrong direction, and Buck's like, hey, we're supposed to land over there, and then Veronica's like, no, my orders say I have to go over here actually, and y'all are coming with me. But all of this becomes irrelevant when the Covenant carrier out of fucking nowhere decides to do a bit of a jump into space in the city, and anyone familiar with Halo 2 knows this results in a huge fucking explosion that just like absolutely obliterates the area, including these ODSTs who are currently flying through the air. So basically everybody's pods get thrown off course, everything's gone to shit. It's all terrible.
And then they die. The end.
They die in the game. Yeah.
All your orbital drop pods get flung into the fucking sea.
Yeah, and they all drown. No.
And as we all know, Spartans can't swim.
Well, they're not Spartans, they're normal people.
Normal people can't swim either.
You cannot swim in Halo.
You can.
Yeah.
No one in Halo can swim.
I mean, in ODST, you never get close enough to a body of water to actually try. So
No
I don't
one
actually know.
therefore
can swim. Believe me, I try to swim in every video game I play. All right.
Even in Sonic, when it's very obviously going to kill you every time.
No. Sometimes it's a water level.
Sometimes. But
Don't like most ODSTs fucking die in the drop?
Yeah.
Like it's like some absurd. It's like 30%, 40%, right?
Yeah, I think it's something like that. I've heard it's not exactly the the safest time.
Some like incredibly high number that's just like that's like, well, it's under 50, so like it's fine, right?
Yeah, it's fine. We gotta fight the Covenant, guys. Come on, stop looking at numbers.
Can't have like a better way in or anything, right? Like
No. Well, yeah, no. It's cooler. It's cooler.
It's cooler. We all know that the fucking UNSC is all about the cool factor. Nothing else matters.
Why do you think they made Spartan?
Well,
I mean, it just
second time was Oni, but the first time, I think, was the UNSC.
Maybe. I know it was the third time for sure.
Third time, the third and
The third and fourth and however fucking many other there are now.
There's 4. There are just 4.
Okay. Cool.
There probably won't be a 5th one, I bet, because the 4s were so badly received because of their presentation. They were presented dog shit in the games.
Yes, but we're not talking about those games right now.
I have a word for 343.
Yeah, we'll get there. We will get there, but we're not at 343 right now. We're on Bungie.
Yeah, and I have a word for Bungie. Fix your fucking destinies.
Yeah, when we do the Destiny video.
then we'll have words for Bungie. But right now we're looking at
Different.
Halo.
Different words for Bungie.
Halo good. Anyway. Anyway, everybody gets blown off course. And the first people to do anything, technically in the timeline, because I'm not going by the timeline of the game, because it's a little weird. And we'll get to why, but the first people to do anything are Buck and Veronica. Again, this is really focusing on these two. So, first mission, you play as Buck. You get out of your pod that's been fucking crashed upside down. And Veronica's immediately on comms like, hey, I'm surrounded. Could you come help? My pod's stuck. And you know, Buck's like, don't worry, I'll get you. I got you. And so you run around, you fight a bunch of Covenant, which is really funny because, you know, as I've said, like almost every Halo game except for this one, you play as a Spartan. So like the enemies ain't that big to you because you're like 7 feet tall. ODSTs are not that tall.
They're normal people.
They're normal people. So, in the first mission, you encounter hunters, and they are massive. And it's the scale's funny to me. But anyway, so Buck heroically goes through all of these waves of Covenant to get to Veronica, and she's not there. I have no idea where she went. So, Buck's like, well, fuck, don't know where my ex-girlfriend went.
Yeah, she was
Probably not
vaporized. Time to move on.
Probably not important.
Probably
Yeah,
not important.
That can't matter. This won't have any further implications.
No. Buck then runs into Romeo, Sniper Boy. The two have a bit of a conversation about where the fuck did Veronica go, and you know, Romeo's like, I don't know, I just got here. And so those two kind of team up, and they're like, all right, New Mombasa is fucked. We gotta get the fuck out of here. The perspective then cuts to Dutch, who lands by a nature reserve / park / zoo. It's hard to tell. Like, it looks like a nature reserve, but it's got signs like a zoo. It's confusing. Anyway, anyway, Dutch lands here, and
Probably like a state park.
probably like it's hard to tell because New Mombasa is in Africa, so it could entirely so it could totally just be like, we're gonna let the drafts run around here. I guess.
What about New Mombasa being in Africa makes you think that they'll just let drafts run around?
I don't know. Like it's not like a.
That's just how Africa is, Cole.
Yeah,
Have you
totally.
Are you about to say have you never been? Is that what you were gonna say?
What, have you never been to Africa?
I know you've never been to Africa.
No, but I have direct heritage in Africa. And therefore my word is more reliable than yours.
Oh my God.
That's not how that works. You are whiter than me. Physically, you are paler than I am.
Correct, and yet my heritage disagrees.
Believe me,
Works.
people
I really
are
don't know
not-
how that works.
people don't get a fucking HUD display of your genealogy when they look at you.
I
Need to.
okay. I was more referring to the fact that like these types of
Fucking
animals are
absurd.
more indigenous to Africa, so it's more likely that they would be
Oh,
free to
that
run
makes-
around, as opposed
okay,
to
that
like
makes
putting a
sense.
giraffe in a
I thought about
zoo in America and in like a cage. Is what I meant. I did not mean that Africa's just gonna let the wild run wild because it's Africa.
I was just confused, man.
It's okay. I clarify. It's fine.
That's fine. We got a funny bit out of it.
Yeah, we got a funny bit out of it. Anyway, yeah, so the Dutch lad's there. And there's not much plot that happens here. It's just Dutch basically helps the Marines that are fighting in that area. Drives a warthog off a cliff, crashes it. And then we cut to Mickey. I don't remember what Mickey does. I think he's explosives.
Mickey explodes.
I don't remember, but unless Dutch is explosive. I don't remember. Anyway. Mickey lands somewhere in the city, and he also helps the Marines in his area by getting in a tank and blowing up the Covenant a bunch. He then runs into Dutch. You fight in an area, and then the two encounter a police officer who's like, hey, any of you know how to arm explosives? So basically, yes. So they are now tasked with the mission of defending this Oni building from the Covenant, because you know how Oni is about their information. And
it's mine.
And the whole point
it's mine and no one else.
It's mine and no one else.
Even if sharing this would be fucking important. Fuck you.
But anyway, but yeah, so these two basically blow up the bridge that goes to this building to slow down Covenant forces. They get into the building, the Covenant are flooding in like crazy, so the guy who's in charge of the operation, I have no idea what his name is, is just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're blowing up the building. So you blow up the building. And then, you know, you get off the building before it explodes, and Dutch and Mickey make contact with Buck and Romeo, and they're like, "Yo, dude, we gotta get out of here." And Dutch and Mickey are like, "Yo, bro, we're in a police ship. We'll come pick you up." And then they get shot down. So, Buck and Romeo now have to get to them to help them defend themselves until more help can arrive. Yeah, they go from building to building, get to the crashed police Pelican, fight off some forces, and towards the end of this altercation, Romeo over here gets up close and personal with a brute, which, if you're a normal person, is a really bad idea. And the brute takes his gravity hammer, turns it to the sharp end, and stabs Romeo in the chest, which punctures his lung, which is not good.
I don't think he's walking that off.
No.
Well, except he does.
So the rest of the gangs up on the brute, kills him, and they're like, "Oh fuck, your lung." So they drag Romeo off to an area where they can give him medical treatment. They get a can of, I think, foam or something, like spray foam. They spray it in just to seal it up because, like, you know, He's suffocating.
It is specifically a medical invention. It is for medical use
Yeah.
for the audience.
What do
They're not just like
What do you mean
filling it
you
with
can't just?
fire extinguisher?
What do you mean you can't just put WD-40 on someone's injuries?
It was a guess. It was a can of WD-40. Totally. It's suddenly better.
Everything.
Yep.
It is a like medical like foam sealant.
Yes. Yes.
You do fill him with the shit.
Yes.
And they gotta use like 2 full fucking canisters because it slowly comes apart inside of your body. It dissolves inside of you. It's for emergency use, so you can get to an actual fucking doctor.
Yes.
But there's no goddamn doctors anywhere.
No. Romeo, you're fine. Romeo, you're fine. You're fine, man. Anyway. So yes, they temporarily deal with the problem, and then wander a bit more, and then encounter a large area of Covenant. And they're like, what? How are we gonna get a ride out of here? All the evacuations are already happening. And Buck is like, y'all done the simulations for a phantom? So the group steals a phantom. And then you have to fight your way through large swaths of Covenant. I'm talking tanks, scarabs, the whole deal. To finally escape the city. They get out of the city, and it's like, oh boy, we're home free, right? Right, Buck? Buck? So Buck comes to a realization. After one of the people mentioned that the sewers of New Mombasa are completely flooded with Covenant. So much Covenant underground. And he sort of connects some dots. Because if you remember, Veronica was like, I have a special mission. And so Buck's like, can we do a U-turn?
Can we go back in? I know we just got out. Can we go back in?
Yeah, quite literally, that's what he does. And everyone's like, "Well, why?" And he's like, I know where she is.
My wife.
My ex-girlfriend. So
my wife, I mean my ex-girlfriend.
my beautiful ex-girlfriend.
What's a Wex girlfriend, boss?
It's when the relationship's complicated.
That's what that fucking Facebook status means.
Yes, it's Wex girlfriend. That's what it means.
That's the only thing it can mean.
It's the only thing it can mean. So okay. For this entire time, now everybody's doing all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. 6 hours after the initial crash, after everyone got fucking pulverized into the dirt, the rookie wakes up. The rookie awakens, and begins wandering the streets of the city randomly. Just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And this is the rookie sort of uses a vehicle for the game to tell the plot. Because you play as the rookie in these segments, you run around the city and you find these items in the city. And it's like you find Veronica's helmet, you find a damaged drone camera, you find a bent sniper rifle. And once you find these things, the rookie looks at them, wistfully looks off into the distance, and then it goes to one of the missions. So technically speaking, if we're going by game, it would be rookie, Buck, rookie, Dutch, rookie, Mickey, rookie. So it was back and forth, but you know, I decided to be fun with it. So Rookie wanders around and basically tries to figure out where everyone went, what's going on. Towards the end of it,
Why'd I wake up here with no idea where everyone is? It's
Yeah.
the middle of the night. Where am I?
Where am I?
It's
Yeah,
dark.
it was dark. It's dark. I don't got no flashlight. I got night vision. But anyway. Yes, so towards the end of this little adventure the Rookie goes on, the Rookie gets a I guess a message from Veronica. Veronica is speaking on an open channel, and she's like, "Help! I'm underground. There's so much shit in here. Doing my damnedest, but I need backup." So the Rookie, being a good ODST, goes to help Veronica, meets up with Veronica, and Veronica starts dragging you along in her mission, which you learn is that in New Mombasa, there is a maintenance AI called Superintendent, and it is Veronica's mission to get this AI and get out. Because this AI has a lot of information. And so she drags you along through a drone nest, which is basically just bugs. You fight a lot of bugs.
So many bugs.
So many bugs. Anyway, you get to the superintendent where you find this alien that you know to be with the Covenant. It's this floating pink thing. Veronica calls it an engineer, and explains to you that this particular people of the Covenant are enslaved by the Covenant and don't want to be here. They're also highly explosive for some reason. But anyway, the engineers are basically just organic supercomputers. So the engineer has basically just melded itself with the AI. So now it has all the information. So now your mission is to get this engineer the fuck out of here.
The technical name is like Huragok or something, right?
Something like that.
Like,
But
it's a kind of like a. Whenever I look at him, I think of like a sea anemone taped to a rock.
yeah, it's kind of like that. That's what it looks like. But anyway, yeah. So at this point, Buck finally catches up to you lot, and is like, "Veronica, I'm here." And Veronica's like, "Oh my gosh, you're here! That's so great! Help me carry this thing." And Buck's like, "The fuck is that?"
Like this floating snail.
Yeah, and she's like, and she's like, "Oh, like these guys are great. You haven't killed any of them on the way here, have you?" And Buck's like, "No,
Funny story.
no, I haven't killed." Maybe one or two. But anyway, they have another spat that ends in a kiss. Yes, and the Rookie and the engineer just kind of look at each other like, "Okay, you too good." But anyway, yeah, so, not so ex-girlfriend, I guess.
What do you mean? They were roommates.
Oh my god, they're a roommate. But yes, so you, Buck, Veronica, and the floaty boy, all make for a escape. Because Buck has the other lads, still in the Phantom, on a rendezvous for pickup, so that y'all can leave. And you know, you drive down a freeway, you fight a bunch of Covenant. There's this whole like standoff at the very end, and then the lads come over and are like, "We're here, get in," and y'all get in with a bit of difficulty because the engineer's like, "Oh no, I don't want to go back to the Covenant. I don't like it." It's like you basically have to drag it into the Phantom because it doesn't like the Phantom. Don't know why it wouldn't like the Phantom. It's totally not an obvious reason.
Like it's chronically abused by the Covenant or something.
No, that didn't happen. But anyway, so y'all get in the ship and you fly off, and as you fly off, you see that there are multiple Covenant cruisers now, and they're all glassing this one area near New Mombasa. It's like they're digging for something. Yeah, you know, Buck and Veronica and the rest of people are like, the fuck are they doing over there? But they don't know. They're just happy they got out of New Mombasa. And then they fly off into the sunset. That's the end of the game. It's a much simpler game than the others. Mostly because
we've been here for what, half an hour?
Yeah. Yeah. Mostly because it is a spin-off game. So it's not nearly as time-consuming as the others. Unless you get lost in the city really easily, then it could take forever. But yes, this... Oh. I forgot. End credit scene has Johnson in it. Which, regardless of your opinion of the game, makes it worth it.
Yeah, obvious.
Yeah, obviously. And so basically, Johnson wants to talk to the engineer, walks up to it, gets it to light his cigar for him, and is like, "So your friends there digging a mighty big hole. The fuck is that about?" And then it ends. Which that will become interesting once we talk about 3. We haven't talked about 3 yet, so. Huh. But yeah, this game was a bit of a diversion from what Halo at the time was like. It was quite different, not just because of the ODSTs, but it felt like Bungie wanted to test out some stuff, like some new ideas that they had in their head. And so it comes off much differently than a lot of the other games, especially with the romance thing. Just as I said, that's weird in Halo. Like that just Halo just does not romance. They just don't do it. It just doesn't happen. I think this is like the one Halo game where they were like, fuck it. These two fucked once, I guess. Romance subplot. Shove it in there.
More than once, it sounds.
I guess. I don't know. Yes, this game is also a bit different from the others because of the cast of the game, the people that were in the game doing the voices of everybody. The first one, who becomes very prevalent later, is the guy who plays Buck, who is Nathan Fillion. He's in like Firefly, Castle. He's in a
Destiny.
show. He is in
Oh yeah, he
Destiny.
is, isn't he?
He's in Destiny. He's in a newer show called The Rookie. But yeah, he's a bigger TV show name, especially in like the early 2000s. So that's an interesting one. And Nathan Fillion's attachment to Halo is quite literally he just really likes Halo and wanted to be in it. Like that's it. That's it. They didn't have to call him. He called them. It was like, can I be in it? Can I come in? Can I be here?
Put me in the game.
Put me in that game. Another interesting thing about the rest of the cast that I know less about them, but I do know that all of them, or most of them at least, were the cast of Firefly. So essentially from what I can gather, Nathan Fillion, in order to fill in the cast of this game, just called all his Firefly friends and was like, hey, you want to be in Halo with me? And they all said, sure, man, whatever. So, that sort of makes the dynamic of these characters a bit different because, like, all of these people have worked together on a show before. So this feels more like a friend group than anything. So that changes the vibe a lot. The only person that I know for a fact doesn't have any ties to anything is the Rookie, and that's because the Rookie does not say anything. The Rookie is dead silent. Which, you know, Noble Six from Reach doesn't say much, but they have some lines. Master Chief doesn't talk that much, at least in the earlier games, but he has lines. Rookie doesn't say shit.
Rookie says 0 things the whole time.
Yes, he quite literally has 0 script, other than like visual cues, which are animated, so it doesn't matter. What's really funny is that every attempt to actually talk to the Rookie is interrupted by something happening. Like, there is a moment where Veronica tries to, you know, actually be personable and like talk to people, and like most of the people in this campaign, and she you know, you're about to go into the depths of the sewers of New Mombasa, and she's like, what's your name, by the way? I never caught it. And then like things happen and they get interrupted, but it's like all attempts to talk to Rookie are denied. The Rookie doesn't say anything anyway.
Harbinger of fucking doom.
Yes, the Rookie is just this dead silent guy who just runs around the city and kills a bunch of Covenant. Rookie's weird. Rookie's a weird one. Good at his job, I guess, but a weird one. But yeah, the game is also, because it's a spin-off, unlike a lot of the other games, there aren't a lot of new additions in terms of like stuff in the world. So, you know, it quite literally just uses all the assets from like Halo 3. I just made a game out of that because it's a spin-off. It's literally called Halo 3 ODST, so, you know. But yeah, I don't know, it's fairly simple, I suppose, as a game. The music's interesting. Because
The music.
yes, the music is interesting because in all of the Halo games prior, it's huge orchestras. It's huge orchestras going like da 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 da, like it's in your face, like, oh, you're fighting something, and it's really cool. Whereas in ODST, it's this calm, jazzy music most of the time. It's very different from like Halo games prior, and I think that's just the main thing about ODST. It's very different from a normal Halo game, and so I don't know. It's I feel like in a lot of areas it does fall a bit more flat than a lot of the other Halo games, because like you can kind of tell with Noble 6, not Noble 6. I'm getting my names mixed up. But with the rookie running
Noble
around the
6
city.
time travels.
Noble 6 didn't get glassed on Reach. Noble 6 went into the future and became the rookie. Totally, that's what happened. But yeah, you can kind of tell with the rookie running around the city, like it almost feels like an open world HUD, like a game centric HUD sort of thing. There's like there isn't like a little radar on your screen. You have the map. You have to open in another menu. It's a lot of different. It feels experimental. Unfortunately, with experimental, you do get a lot of things that can fall flat. For example, a lot of the rookie sections are kind of boring.
Why? And sometimes you shoot at things, but there are so many things, and you're such just a guy that it's hard to do like a firefight.
It's easier to walk around, yeah.
Which easier to run.
It's easier to run. Well, that's the other thing. The openness of that area makes it really easy to walk completely around a threat, and they don't even see you. It's like you can just like, I normally run through Halo games, but I'm running through like gunfire. I'm running through Covenant going, "Oh, I see you. You're running past me." And like I'm getting shot at like crazy. In ODST, I would quite literally just calmly walk past an entire area of Covenant. They wouldn't even bat an eye. So I think the openness actually adds to the boredom, because it's like, okay, yeah, I could totally actively make the decision to walk up to the threat and kill them all. But if I don't have to, why do I need to do that? Especially considering I'm not a Spartan. I don't have shields. I just got this armor. I'm just a dude. Like, I'm just a dude. When I slam the gravity hammer down, I don't just slam the gravity hammer down. The gravity hammer slams me upward, like like I'm just a silly little guy. And so yeah, it's much more optimal to just walk around it. Now, the segments where you're playing as the other characters are fun, because those work very similarly to just another Halo level where it's like, we have a goal we need to get from point A to point B, and there's threats in the way, and you can't just walk around them. You can run through them. You can definitely run through them, I've proven that, but you can't walk around them.
If I remember right, a lot of the non-rookie gameplay is go to a point and hold that point.
Yes.
For like 10 minutes.
Yes.
And maybe it wasn't 10 minutes. It sure fucking felt like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think that there are a couple that don't do that. I don't think Dutch's mission does that. Mickey's initial mission doesn't do that. Buck's first mission doesn't. I think towards the end more it becomes like we have to hold this position until until they stop. But yeah, it has a larger amount of those missions than a lot of other Halo games, which I don't think prior Halo games really had those types of missions. It was like 1, 2, and 3 were very much like run forward. It's like, don't stop. Why are you stopping?
I remember some, like, we have to take this point in Halo 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of, okay, we're done here. Now we go here and we take this next one.
Yeah.
And then we go somewhere else.
Yeah. It's a lot of going places, whereas in ODST it was a lot of, you know, fuck, the Pelican crashed. Here, we gotta defend this point until the Covenant fuck off. Because we can't leave, because the Pelican crashed. But, you know, it's also got a lot of the classic Halo stuff. You've got your tank mission. You've got your mission where you predominantly drive a warthog. Not a lot of flying, but that wasn't that common in Halo. Like, flying was common in Halo, but like having a specific mission for flying was a bit of a newer one. Or at least it wasn't that common of one, and it's not in ODST. I don't think there's one. There's not a mission where you actively are like, I'm gonna fly now. I'm gonna get in this thing and go.
It's fly time. It's time
Yeah,
to
actually,
go.
no, I'm wrong. There is. That's where you fight the scarab. I completely forgot about that. You gotta fly around in a banshee. Shoot the scarab in the back. Blow it up. You know, my memory of this game is a lot worse than the others because I haven't played this one 50 bajillion times. Like, ODST is a good game. It's a good game. It's enjoyable. It's just like it can drag a little bit, and that makes it a lot less playable over and over and over again. Yeah, it does.
I'm thinking about the story.
The story.
Veronica knew that the floaty guy was down there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just in my head, I'm thinking like, man, Oni's really bad at military operations.
Yeah. Well,
and by extension, it kind of makes the UNSC a little bad at some military operations.
Yeah, well, okay. The issues in this team, specifically pertaining to Veronica's little thing, is that she didn't explain anything. Like, she didn't actually tell them what the mission was. She was just like, my orders, and that was it. That was all she would say about it. And it's like, yeah, she's technically with Oni, and like they were like, it's a top secret mission, you can't say anything about it. But it's like, okay, she's dragging the team along with her. They're gonna find out what the mission is anyway. I don't.
Not if kill the entire team.
Yeah. I think that's what Oni might have wanted her to do. They're kind of fucking bastards.
Oh my god.
Kind of why I said it, because it sounds like something Oni would do.
Probably.
I guess there's like, I don't know if Oni knows this or not, but like a really important thing when you're doing the military is communication, to the point where like if you break down lines of communication, that's probably gonna lose the war, whoever has their communications broken.
Yeah. You know, like the whole thing going to shit was not Veronica's fault. That was the fault of the fucking slip space rupture going off. But like, it wouldn't have gone well with how she was handling it if that didn't happen. Because like They don't know what they're doing. Like you get a team and you're like, okay, we gotta follow my orders. What are your orders? We gotta follow my orders. Let's go. It's like,
My orders are to follow my orders.
yeah. It's like it doesn't
It's like
connect.
bring like a team of people with you so you have more firepower. Good idea. Maybe tell them a little more about what's going on.
Yeah, like
so they don't try to leave you when you need help.
Like you could at least say like, okay, so we need to go under the city to the superintendent. You don't need to tell them everything, but like you could tell them at least where you're going.
No, that's stupid.
Why would I do that?
Just reconfirms to me that Oni is like badly run as at an organizational level. Random aside, I think I've always, on one hand, wanted, and on the other hand, desperately do not want, in explored in the games, is what the fuck is up with the insurgency? Because it's like on the one hand, that is the technical original reason that the Spartan 2s were created, was to stamp out the insurgency permanently forever. But they've never been like a major focus of the games. Like they've not been super important to it. Never as important as anything else that's going on. And while I want to see that explored more in game ever, I also don't want that to happen ever because I do not trust either. I would not have trusted Bungie to do it. I don't trust 343 to do it. I do not trust either of them to make like that involves politics. Those are political themes.
Yeah.
I don't trust either of them to write those well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. According to a quick Google search, reading the Halopedia, the insurrection quickly died down after the onset of the Human Covenant War that began in 2525. Many insurrections prioritized fighting against the Covenant due to them being a common enemy, as well as the outer colonies being the Covenant's first targets. So yeah, the insurrection basically was like, well, that's a bigger threat than what we're doing, and I don't want to die. So I guess that's why they're not a big thing in the games, because they very quickly were like, yeah,
Like they didn't come back up when the Covenant was gone. They just like forgot all about that.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's like the stuff that you deal with in Halo 4 and 5, like, yeah, those are pretty major threats, but they also aren't. They really fail at making them seem as big as the Covenant is.
Yeah. Well, and
as
also like
massive and omnipresent.
Yeah, and also those threats aren't perceived by like the major human populace. Like
Yeah.
it's I don't want to get too into it because we're gonna do episodes on them, but like
Yeah.
those threats are much more disconnected from humanity as a whole than the Covenant was, because the Covenant was like directly attacking humans. Like they were trying to find every human colony and be like, fuck you, get glassed, I hate you. Like all the way up to Earth. Like by the time we get to, you know, fucking hell, by the time we get to like Halo Combat Evolved, Earth's the only one left. Like the Covenant went on a genocide.
That was the idea.
Yeah, like the Covenant killed everybody. And it's like the other threats that pop up after 3 haven't done that. Or if they did, it was either on a much smaller scale or it wasn't communicated well. And
yeah,
so
the threats thing of the 1 in 4 specifically, did wreak some havoc in, like, it wasn't a lot, because once he gets off that planet, doesn't he like destroys a space station?
he destroys a space station, and he hits a section of like I think it was like Colorado, if I'm remembering right.
So he achieves basically nothing.
Yeah, no, like especially when you compare it to the Covenant, because it's like, okay, yeah, you blew up a state. The Covenant killed countless planets.
You blew up the state of Colorado.
I mean, to be fair, that is still a huge victory.
The Rockies.
Who cares about the fucking Rockies?
Is it a huge victory for the threat, or is it a huge victory for
Both, honestly. Everyone benefits from no Colorado.
Oh my god! I don't know, man. I would have preferred. I would have preferred them hitting Ohio.
Where is Nestle supposed to get all their bottled water from?
Oh no!
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
My feelings about like Halo 3 ODST are very specifically that it's fine. Honestly,
Yeah.
Melina, I have pretty neutral opinions on most of the Halo games. I don't particularly super like any of them. I think they're good, but like, no, not super my thing.
Well, yeah. That's just the thing with like video games. It's sometimes
Video games.
video games tailored to different people depending on the video game. Like that's how it is. But yeah, no, but yeah, ODST is definitely an interesting entry.
It's a pass for me. It's
Yeah, it's good. Listen, you think it's good. That's all I need. I don't need you to be a super fan with me. Like, I'm not over here like, come to the depths with me.
Just don't draw me down the giant hole the Covenant put in, like, the center of Africa.
Come on.
That's it, you're going to the Covenant hole.
Covenant hole.
It's like ODST is definitely a really weird one. I think it was. I think it would have been really cool to have more games in its style, going forwards. Have like more side games. Have more side fucking games in general. I'm so sick. Tangentially related to last week's thing, I'm so fucking sick of. This is just a general thought as well. I'm so tired of companies trying to create media franchises that never, ever end.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. Honestly, this is my opinion. If after Halo 3 we had the Halo franchise continued with a fully different protagonist and Master Chief got to retire or do things off screen
Or just fucking died.
or just was dead or dies at the end of 3, which would have been sad, but
Yeah, but you know, it's entirely possible. You're in a war.
it's a war,
You
yeah.
can die. Everyone else in the franchise.
Everyone else in Halo 3 dies. Almost everyone else in Halo 3 fucking dies.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. It came out in 2007.
Yeah, we haven't done that episode yet.
You're right. Cole, you failed me.
And therefore I know nothing about Halo 3.
Don't worry, you will. You will. I'll go into detail about that one because I played it a bunch.
It's like, I think it would have been fine. Like, obviously there would have been contention because changing protagonists will always be contention, but like I think it would have been healthier for the series as a whole, because I think it's pretty fucking clear that like there are no real like concrete ideas on what to do with Master Chief for 4 and 5, and finally got one for Halo Infinite.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, like, and the other thing is that specifically talking about the like Halo,
as a
like
series.
as a series. Like okay, Reach did the best out of the whole franchise. Like maybe not in terms of sales, because I know that 1 and 2 just fucking exploded when they came out. But like in terms of like, you know, an entire generation remembering the game, yeah, no, it did great. But like, you know, like that doesn't feature the Master Chief at all, really. And it did really well. So like a lot of, I don't know, in my mind, like the Halo franchise could absolutely get away with switching to a different protagonist, a different team. They just have to do it well. Because again, not gonna get too into it, but they attempted this sort of with 5, and it didn't go over well because 5 is a bad game.
Oh, my eternal fucking gripe with the Halo franchise and not having a sprint button until fucking Reach, and it being a power up you have to pick up. If you can't sprint and also be able to do like some other shit.
I don't know, I think it's funny.
Hate about the Halo franchise, top of the list, no fucking sprint button until Infinite?
No, it's 4.
You're not even until 4?
Yeah, 4 is a sprint button.
4 is a sprint button? The only fucking good change. That's probably not true. I'm just really steamed right now.
That's fine. That's valid. Yeah, no, the majority of my video game experience has been Halo, so like the no sprinting really doesn't bother me, but I can totally see it bothering other people.
I think we talked about this when we talked about Combat Evolved, is like the control scheme for Halo is very unique.
Yes.
I don't think it's inherently bad. I think if you've played any other first-person shooter, you're going to be very, very confused for a little while.
Yeah, like well, it's so funny because the exact opposite happens for me. I play any other first-person shooter, and I'm like, what do you mean the other trigger's not the grenade button? That's how you zoom in?
Why? Because why would it be the grenade button?
Because that is the grenade button.
The aim button.
That's what I'm used to. And I automatically win the argument because Cole muted. Good job.
That is how it works.
Yep. Absolutely.
I accidentally deafened myself too instead of unmuted.
Foolish.
It's so clearly aim. Alright, the fact that almost every other first-person shooter uses that control scheme has to mean something.
Yeah, it means that that is the bog standard.
Yeah, alright, sometimes the bog standard is okay. I'm not saying it's great, I'm saying it makes a little bit more sense.
Like, I understand. What, you click the right stick in for aiming on Halo?
Yes.
That just don't make sense. It just don't gel with me.
Well, okay, I like it because like like you aim, you hit the aim thing, and then it stays aimed, and you don't have to hold it down.
You can do that with the triggers too. You just gotta select toggle aim. Most games have that as an option.
Yeah, but like, you don't have to do that in Halo. It's just
intricately designed game settings save my ass.
Look, if the first thing you do when you start up a game is anything other than go into the settings, you're not a real gamer.
I guess I'm not a real gamer then. Halo.
I would have liked more things in the style of ODST, as in like you are a normal person.
Yeah.
Just because like Master Chief is always throughout the entire Human Covenant War is like doing these giant special ops, and it's not at all representative of what the rest of the war is like. And so I think currently the only other way to get a picture of what the rest of the war is like is to read the books or maybe play, what is it, Halo Tactics?
Halo Wars.
A bad
Halo
option.
Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, not very good options if you're playing the video game series for the video games,
Yeah.
and not entirely for the lore and the world building and the story. That's like, okay,
Yeah.
the story as it's presented in the games is fine. It's not like fucking revolutionary, but like they're all tropes for a reason because they're fucking good.
Yeah. It's yeah, like Halo's game story is not like this groundbreaking thing that like changes everything about that I've ever known. No, it's just good. And yeah, a lot of times it is tropey and like and stuff like that, but like, it's fun, it's good, I like it. It doesn't.
Bad. It's not a bad thing.
No, like something doesn't need to subvert your expectations 50 bajillion times to be good. Like you can see the thing coming and still enjoy it.
That statement has been topical for the past 10 years. But I think more spin-off games. One of the most infuriating things that I learned a bit after Helldivers 2 released was
Mhm.
that I saw a lot of people saying like, man, if this was like a Halo ODST game, that'd be fucking baller. That would like this would have been so cool back in the day then as well, right?
Mhm.
And to then learn that like 343 had been petitioning Microsoft to like work on other things that weren't like mainline games the whole time between between 5 and Infinite.
Mhm.
I was just like, no.
Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, because what Halo has become to Microsoft now is a very milkable cow. That's really it. So Microsoft's not looking to be like, oh, we can make these fun little spin-offs, and oh, we can do these fun like they're like we want big numbers, we want line go up.
But he's still yeah.
That's all Microsoft
Sorry, I
has
took
ever
psychic
seen
damage.
video games as is line go up.
Yeah, like I bet you, like I can confidently say this. The only reason that Bungie was able to make those spin-off games is because they made Halo, which is one of the highest grossing game series ever.
I mean,
And
they also
so,
had, like a contract to fulfill, right? Before they could leave.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like to me it feels like they could get away with more because it was like
Yeah.
you made all this money. You do whatever
And
you
then-
want.
then Halo 4 by 343 Studios did not do as good, and then everyone fucking hated the fifth one.
Yeah, and then Microsoft was like, no, like we're not letting you do anything fun because you fucked up here. Which, granted, they did fuck up. Like I get
They
that,
did fuck up, but it's also like, come on, Microsoft.
Yeah, but like, okay, like on the one hand, I agree with you. Like it would have been really cool to have an ODST like style Helldivers game, but on the same time, it's like, okay, looking at this from like a business perspective, we've created this section of the business in order to make this product more. They failed 2 times in a row. What are the odds they're going to succeed the third time? So it's like, okay, we can either let you spend time on the smaller game that's going to fail the same way as the other 2 things, or we can push you to make another big one that would at least make more money. And maybe you'll improve.
I mean, well, third time's the charm, you know?
I mean, Infinite is better than 4 or 5, which isn't hard, but still.
Low bar.
There was improvement. There was, in my opinion, vast improvement. There are other people that don't think so, but whatever. It's my podcast. I'll say my opinion.
Imagine the other people who don't think so don't like the format of Halo Infinite. They don't like the open worldiness
Yeah,
of it, which I think is a fair complaint in regards to the Halo series.
Yeah.
But also, like, it's gonna have to change eventually, or it would die slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's I'm okay with that change. Look, as long this is a weird thing about Halo games. Like Halo games just feel different than other games. Like there's it's very different. I don't know if it's because of the control scheme or how like the physics work or whatever, but it's just like you just get this feeling of like it's a Halo game. And 4 and 5 were missing that feeling. Like I was like I play those and I'm like this doesn't feel like Halo. The first time I played Infinite, I got fucking smacked in the face with that feeling, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Halo. Oh my god, they nailed it. and it's quite frankly impressive to me that like, you know, they added like a grappling hook and an open world and like the banished and everything, and it still feels like a Halo game. Like that's just impressive to me.
Why it took them so long to do Vanish thing. I'll talk about that when we get to like Halo 4.
Yeah, Halo 4 Infinite later. It's later. But
Later.
but yeah, like I and like to me personally, in terms of that Halo feeling, going back to ODST here since that's technically the topic. ODST like it falls in the middle almost. Like it feels like a Halo game, but not as much as the other Halo games. So it's like it's got the feeling, but it's in limbo, which might be another reason that like I didn't play that one as often because I'm just kind of like it feels slightly off. It could just be because you're playing as an ODST and everything's wonky in terms of scale because of that. I don't know. But like ODST's weird. It's just weird. It's interesting. I like it. It's fine, but it's weird.
That should be the primary takeaway from this episode. ODST is weird.
ODST is weird, yeah.
Name of the episode.
ODST is weird. Sure, I can do that. The Halo franchise is weird cousins. That's another interesting thing about ODST. Even looking at Reach. In Reach there were other characters involved in the plot. Like, you know, in Reach we saw Halsey. There were a bunch of higher ups that would talk to the team. In ODST that doesn't happen. In ODST it's very isolated, like it's just the team. And there's nobody else. Like there's no commander, there's no like Lord Hood, there's no like the only other character that shows up is Johnson, and he shows up in the last 30 seconds after the credits. So
Just to be cool as fuck about it.
Yeah, cause he's cool as fuck always, anytime he's on screen. And so, you know, it makes that the game all the more isolated with itself. Cause like, you know, with Reach, it's like, yeah, you're not playing as the Master Chief. None of these Spartans show up again. But Halsey's there. You meet Captain Keyes, the Pillar of Autumn's right fucking there. Like there's connections to the main game, like in terms of characters. But like in ODST, the only real connection is you're in New Mombasa, the slip space rupture happens, and then the Covenant are digging a hole. Like the connections are more
Diggy hole.
diggy. I am a grunt and I'm digging a hole.
Sleeper agent activated.
Its connections to the main game are more event-based than character-based, which is interesting to me. Also, like, it's weird. Going back to the main theme, it's a weird game. It does weird things. Weirdly.
I wish I got like more time. I feel like looking at ODST, I'm like, there's something interesting here. But I can't tell exactly.
Yeah, Helldivers too.
Oh wow, you're right. Hey. I meant the game, but
That's the inherent
that's just the
connection
concept
of
of the inherent connect. Yeah, falling from orbit onto
Yeah.
the battlefield
in a rather unsafe manner.
and having like fucking 40% casualties.
That's optimistic for Helldivers.
Yeah.
85% casualties for those guys.
Yeah. Double it and give it to the next game.
Give it to the next game. But yeah, no, the connection there.
Looking at the game, it's like I feel like there's something interesting here, and I think it is almost the character interactions because Reach came out after Halo 3 ODST, right?
Yes, it came. ODST came out in 2009, and Reach came out in 2010 or 11.
So like you have in Halo 3 ODST like an actual squad
Yeah,
for the portions of the game.
yeah,
And I think that's like the little nugget in it that they tried to polish off in Reach.
oh yeah.
Where it's like you've got like actual people around you this time, as opposed to just being Mr. Choif and woman in his skull.
And then like every cutscene is like it's Johnson. Jeez.
Yeah, and then occasionally the other supporting cast is around as well, but like he's pretty alone a lot of the time.
I'm Johnson. I'm gonna say a cool line and I'm gonna go away.
The Halo formula.
I know what the ladies like. Oh yes, Johnson's titular catchphrase, saying a cool line and then exploding.
I'm gonna say a cool line.
Maria. Boom.
But yeah, no, that's another interesting thing because ODST did come out before Reach, like and some of the stuff that's in Reach was introduced in ODST. Like one major example is the night vision. In Reach, you have night vision, you just inherently have it. But that wasn't a thing until ODST, which is neat. And it's also what makes me think that, again, that ODST was more of like an experiment to like try stuff out, because there are a couple of things from ODST that end up in later games. Mostly Reach, because after that it's 343 and not Bungie, but yeah, I feel like ODST was Bungie's stepping stone to Reach in a way. With like how you said how you have like an actual team that you interact with a lot the whole time.
Honestly, that wouldn't shock me, especially because like specifically the lack of focus on Master Chief.
Yes, that too. Like making a Halo game that's not about the Master Chief blowing up a Halo ring.
There are other things in this universe worth making games about?
Yeah, always have been.
Wow. Someone should tell Microsoft that.
Yeah. Maybe they should. Might be a little late now, but you know. Oh well.
Master Chief canonically dies in the next fucking Halo game.
I would be sad. I like the Master Chief.
It would be sad, but it would also force the franchise to change.
The real question is, would it be for the better or the worse?
It doesn't really matter to me. I have no personal investment in here. I'm
well,
just
I do. Stop making me sad.
Well, Alina, we play Dungeons and Dragons. Making our friends sad is like part and parcel of a whole dynamic.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I understand that. I like Halo more. Sorry.
Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
That's fair. That's just no. That just really like illustrates the extent of how much you love that series. Then, because I've seen your devotion to some of your characters.
Yeah, okay, like listen, it's a really close thing. Like it's really close, but like if you'd asked me, well, like I honestly just I like Halo better. It's probably because I've played it since I was like 8. I have a connection. But like I don't know, I like it. I like it more. It probably also helps that I've always liked sci-fi a little bit more than fantasy, personally. Which is like not to say that I think fantasy is bad or something. I like fantasy too. I like sci-fi more.
I like science fiction. Good. Now my brain's going down the fucking hole of like the differences between science fiction and fantasy, and it's actually like not. It's not that many. It's all like mostly it's stylistic differences, but it then
Yeah.
depends on like if you're doing hard science fiction, which is using real science, or soft science fiction where you make shit up, like the
Yeah.
psychics from Mars. Fucking Robert Heinlein.
Where does Halo fall in that? Do you think?
I think Halo starts being like fairly hard science fiction, not like the hardest ever, but like a lot of it is using, I think, like theoretical ideas that are technically based in real world science.
Mm-hmm.
Then the more the series goes on, and then like always in like the first few games, you have like all the Forerunner shit that like is also technically based in real world science, but it's also like way more vague and doesn't make complete sense.
Yeah.
And then like, as the games go on and Forerunner shit takes a greater focus, it then very much becomes of like, okay, well now this is just stuff that
This is
only makes
just
sense
silly.
in universe.
This
This is just silly. You're just being silly.
Who's the silly little guy?
Yeah, the Forerunners were known in lore as just being the silly little guys.
Forerunner walks up to the flood. You wouldn't infect a silly little guy, would you? That's another thing about ODST. There's no flood. There's no flood in ODST.
If you were a normal soldier and saw flood, you're
fucked.
Yeah, you're dead.
It ends like Reach.
Objective: survive, except you can't last like fucking 4 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, no, ODST was the first Halo game to not have flood in it. It was you were just fighting Covenant, nothing else. Which also happened in Reach. You're only fighting Covenant.
Well, yeah, you pit any normal person, anyone who's not the Master Chief against the Flood, they die.
Yeah. This sort of the Flood's whole thing is like, living tissue. Let me just and I've eaten the whole species. Great.
Tasty.
Tasty. Let's keep going.
I got hungry.
I got hungry. Guys, can you really blame the Grave Mine for trying to eradicate the galaxies? He's just hungry. He's just a little hungry. He just wants a snack.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. You wouldn't try to stop an infection from a silly little guy, would you?
Yeah, just come here. Just let me like poke you real quick. I got this knife. I got this knife hand.
Let me just nibble on you a little bit. Let me just
It's affection. It's affection. It's like when a cat bites you.
Yeah, just let me unhinge
Just
my
let
jaw.
it happen.
let me
Just let it happen.
just let it happen. Dude, let me just unhinge my jaw here and just just come on, just a little bit.
Just a little guy.
Just a little guy. But yeah, ODST's weird.
Name drop? Episode name drop?
No.
Like for the fourth time.
Something tells me we're running out of things to say about Halo 3 ODST, which was weird.
Yes, it was. It still is. It still exists.
Impossible. Everyone knows that once something is released and you consume it, it ceases to exist. This is why I never finish any video games.
You finish a game, it's done. So everything's vanished into ether.
Then how have I played 1, 2, and 3 bajillion times?
Clearly, there's a relay in your brain.
It's because you're not a real gamer. The only feasible, I don't know.
Okay, so what? There are two things in this recording that we're using to say that Alina's somehow not a real gamer, and it's does not mess with the settings before playing for the first time,
And replays games.
and replays games.
I like Halo, okay? I guess that is another thing about ODST. There's audio recordings you can find around the city.
Just like real life.
Yeah, totally. But yeah,
Go around the nearest large city and steal every phone you can find and listen to whatever. It's not a crime, it's collectible gathering.
Yeah, the thing with finding collectibles in the real world cities is that they're not going to lead you on some kind of epic quest to discover the Chicago rat hole shrine. Like, that's just unlikely to happen.
You start in New York, you end up in Chicago, you find the rat shrine. But you know, unfortunately, I don't know a lot about those because, as I've established, I sprint through the games. So
I thought you were gonna say don't know much about the Chicago rat hole.
No, I don't know anything about that. But it's not about Halo, so I don't know anything about it.
Now, what can you tell me about Chicago in the world of Halo?
I know nothing. It's not brought up. There's not a Halo level where it's like, Master Chief, the Covenant have landed in Chicago.
The Covenant have landed in Chicago.
We have to stop them from getting to the
We
Chicago
build the
rat
Lego bulldozer.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, no, there's no level like that. There's a level where you run around New Mombasa and then it explodes.
Really?
Yeah. That's a neat thing about I guess generally Halo is that like none of it takes place in the United States, to my knowledge.
None of it, very little of it takes place on Earth.
Yeah, and the parts that do are in Africa.
Alien realms.
Yeah, I mean, to the team at Bungie, probably.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's not really like a major point that you're in Africa. You're just in Africa.
It's a major point that the Covenant is in Africa, and you're here to punch them in wherever their fucking genitals are, I guess.
Yeah, but like I mean I like it's not like whoa, we're in Africa. Weird. Like it's not like that. It's just like oh yeah, you're New Mombasa. Fun fact, it's in Africa, I guess. Anyway, slip space rupture. One more thing I want to say about the Africa thing is that like I feel like because they don't draw attention to it, it sort of adds to the whole like UNSC like world government thing.
Oh yeah, I mean it is what does UNSC stand for? I've always thought it was United Nations
I think it's
Space
Space Corps.
Cowboys.
is
Cowboys?
Space Cowboys.
Oh,
It
they're in a
is
western.
the United Nations Space Command.
See,
Yay!
they claim to be the United Nations Space Command, and yet I only ever see them on planets.
No, they also end up on Halo rings and the Ark.
Yeah, but they're never in space.
Oh, they're sometimes in space.
Sometimes they're in space.
Yeah, but usually that's a bad thing.
Usually they're running from the Covenant, yeah.
They spend a non-zero amount of time in space. If you think about it, we're in space right now.
That is technically true. Okay. Now we can end the episode.
It's my
Yay,
favorite
the
one.
episode ended. You like jazz? Then you'd probably like the soundtrack to Halo 3 ODST. It's got a lot of jazz in it. Anyway, subscribe, I guess.